I had to watch it in replay like 3 times, because in slow-mo, you see Tom throw the left and then come with the right. But when you see it in real life, it happens so fucking fast that I was more blown away after the fight than when it did happen, right? It makes sense why Pavolic felt for the left hand, because Tom just said foom, foom, like, and it was like that, and then catches him with the same combo right after, and it just finishes Sergey Pavolic. The fact that he is a heavyweight, and I know everyone's talking about it, his movement, how fast he is and all that, but when you see this shit in real time, it's so impressive. I was telling my girl, like, the fact that he got himself out of that situation with the feints, and that's just like high level striking, right? And a lot of people might be like, oh, like, just feints, but to do it against Pavolic, to get caught with Pavolic's right hand and feint your way out of there, and then like to keep your mindset in a steady mind and not freak the fuck out, because Pavolic wants to get the knockout in the first, and they already just landed on you like a minute in the fight and then just catches him with the fast 1-2, a fast 1-2. Hey guys, welcome to the False Nine Podcast with episode 178 with your host Alvaro. UFC 295 is in the books. It's over with. We had bangers, all finishes on the main card, which is very impressive, and it kind of felt like it was just back to back. I'm going to talk about all the fights, a little bit of breakdown, and kind of talk about what's next. If I have a little bit of time towards the end, I'll talk a little bit about something that I do want to, but if not, I'll do it on the next episode. So let's get started, man. UFC 295, we start off with Diego Lopez versus Pat Sabatini. Sabatini was the favorite, which I was a bit surprised by that. I had Diego Lopez winning the fight in the first round or earlier, like just early in the fight. And like I said, I mean, he's a rising star, and he's going to keep improving and just keeping the division on notice. And he's at 145, if I'm not mistaken. And, there's a lot of good fights for Diego there, at 145. So it's exciting, and it's exciting for him to perform. And, I mean, he's been active. I don't know if this was his second or third fight of the year, but he's been real active, and to get a win like that, a finish in the first round, I mean, I believe he got a bonus, so that's pretty nice. And I'm pretty happy to see him win, and I'm just more excited to see him on other pay-per-views or other events. And I'm not sure who he should fight next, to be honest with you, but he stuffed a takedown in the fight, and then he got caught with one good shot. And then, coming up, from the stuff takedown, he catches Sabatini and then just rocks him. And then, he just starts going for the ground and pound, and that's it. So, quick finish, nice. And like I said, I'm really looking forward to him to just climb his way up to the rankings. We'll see if he does get ranked after this week's performance. And we'll just have to see up to date and see what's next for him, because he hasn't taken any damage in a lot of his fights. So it's just really impressive what he's been able to do. And I think the last fight that he had, he was a backup. So he wasn't even he didn't have a full camp. But let's do this real quick. So he had Tucker in August, which he won, I guess, and then he lost to was it Evolev? And then he beat Rodriguez, and he beat Glenn in February. So this was his third fight this year. Very impressive. Again, very good. And I'm just excited to see him, from here on out. And we'll just see if he gets a ranked opponent or if he gets ranked himself. So the next fight we had Matt Frevola versus Benit St. Denis. I didn't even talk about this fight at all. I was really excited about it, though, and I just thought we were going to see a banger, fireworks, two aggressive guys trying to knock each other out. That's what I thought we were going to see, and that's kind of what we were starting to see. We all know that St. Denis won the fight with a nice leg kick. But, starting off, we've seen some nice striking from both guys, and then I believe St. Denis got the takedown, and then Frevola got up and then St. Dennis, it was just impressive how I got this knockout because Frevola was getting up and trying to work his way around the ring. St. Dennis just cuts off the ring with the leg kick, just shot, in the direction that Frevola was running to, and just lights out and puts him out. And it was such an impressive leg kick to the dome. And I was just like, oh my God, right? And then I wanted to see more of that fight because they were showing high-level striking, high-level grappling on both ends. And I was like, oh, this is going to be an exciting fight, man. And then next thing you know, he just catches him. And that was scary. And it was so impressive. And I was like, just blown away. So big W for St. Dennis. And, I'll be watching his fights and see how he's doing. On both guys, like I said, I'm getting to know these guys on events and trying to study them more. So, very impressive just how he cut off the ring like that and just got the knockout. So we'll see what's next for him. Like I said, this is probably another fight for these guys to climb their way up and be ranked or fight a ranked opponent. So, yeah. But that was that fight. And then we get to the Jessica Andrade fight versus Mackenzie Dern. And this fight was a little weird because Mackenzie Dern was a heavy favorite and Jessica was an underdog, and everyone was kind of hyping up Dern, and including myself. I was like, oh, well, if everyone's hyping her up, and I seen a little bit of both, both highlights. I've seen Jessica fight, but Dern's highlights, and I was like, okay, she looks kind of scary. I see why people, are picking her. I see why she's the favorite. I get it. And then we get into the fight, and then, DC and Joe Rogan on the commentary start picking up that Dern's just leaving her chin wide open, and I didn't pick it up yet, so I start paying attention to it when she throws, and I'm like, bro, it's wide open all day for Jessica. Jessica just needs to be able to close the distance because she was not struggling, but Dern was, doing a pretty solid job of managing the distance between her and Jessica. And then, once Dern really just got slipping, Jessica started closing the distance, caught her a few times. That's that. And then that was really the first round. Second round, at this point, Jessica knows what she needs to do. And I'm really confused. I'm like, what's going on? Like, Dern looks so sloppy. And I don't want to talk so bad about her, but she just looks sloppy. It didn't look like she was supposed to be in there with Jessica. Like, it looked like there was a pro versus an amateur. And I was just kind of confused. I was like, how was she the favorite? How, including myself, really thought she was going to win. Like, I don't know, man. I wish I would have done more of my homework on Dern for that, but it was just sloppy. And then when she was getting caught, she just fell to the ground and it was like expecting Jessica to engage. And Jessica was like, nah, we doing this standing up. And then, it had the same sequence happened like 2-3 times. And then after Dern gets dropped, I think the 4th time, it's a wrap. The ref ended it and that's it. So, yeah, it was just weird, to be honest with you, to see like that type of performance from Dern. It's just because of the hype behind her, I guess. But for Jessica, it's a big W because I was kind of like talking bad about Jessica, how she lost to Tatiana Suarez and how does she get a pay-per-view fight with Dern. But with Dern's performance, I'm just like, it's all good for Jessica. So good for Jessica. She's a beast. Like, she's a beast. So we'll see what's next for her. It's always exciting to see her fight. And for Dern, I don't know if she was hurt or I don't know if Jessica just put it on her like that or what happened, but she has to find a way to kind of bounce back and do what she needs to do to be fighting at the highest level. Because she did catch Jessica with some nice shots, but if she catches her and then she just got countered right away. So it is what it is on that one. But strong finish for Jessica. Very excited to see what's next for her. And we'll just really have to see. Now, hey guys, I just want to quickly interrupt this episode. This is not a sponsorship, but I do have an affiliate link with Entertainment Earth. I just received my 2 Funko Pops that I ordered. It took about 10 business days. I got me a nice Spider-Man. I got me a nice Venom. They have a variety of collectible items, not just Funko Pops, but they have a lot of Funko Pops too, if that's something that you may like. And if you order using our link, the affiliate link, you get a nice 10% off. Just make sure you check the link on the description, or I'll have a nice card somewhere around the screen. Let's get back to the episode. Let's get into the co-main. event. You know, we had a first round knockout with Diego Lopez. Then we had Jessica Andrade with a second round knockout. And then we have Tom Aspinall versus Sergey Pavlovich. I was so wrong about how this fight was going to go. I was like, you know, if someone's going to finish it early, it's going to be Sergey Pavlovich. He's going to go in there and put it on Tom and, you know, possibly knock out Tom if, you know, there's a knockout. And for Tom, I was like, you know, for Tom being the more agile fighter, a more move, like, you know, someone that has that movement, that moves just quick on his feet. I was like, he's just going to try and move around, go in, go out, go in, go out, and let this fight go to round 3, 4, and then start thinking about a finish. And it did not go that way at all. And I'm so happy it didn't. And I was so happy for Tom because I've been hearing about Tom for about a year and a half now. And then his last fight, it's when I watched him for the first time, like live. You know, I've seen his fights previously, but, you know, a little after he's fought, clearly. And I was like, man, this guy looks good. I like how he talks. I just like his personality, at least from what I've seen. He looks like a cool dude and a humble guy, and his story's pretty neat. And I was like, I want to root for this guy, you know. And then I even said when this fight got announced, I was like, man, I want Tom to win, but I don't know if he's going to be ready for Pavlovich. You know, Pavlovich is on a 6 knockout streak on the first round. So I was just like, man, it's scary. And I didn't really give a solid prediction. All I just said was that if Pavlovich was going to win, it was in the first. If Tom was going to win, it was going to be in the later rounds. And that was my prediction. That was it. No idea. I don't think no one thought Tom was going to get the knockout in the first round. Like, I really don't think anyone did because I didn't see anybody saying that at all. Everyone thought if Tom was going to get it done, it would be in the later rounds. You know, I saw a lot of people were right about, you know, him being so fast with the feints, the leg kicks. I saw all that, but I did not see a first round finish. So the fact that he did it and just shocked the world was amazing, you know. And those are the things that happen at MSG. It just happens. So let's talk about the fight, right? They have the fight. They come out. I'm fucking hyped. And then, you know, Tom just grabs Pavlovich, you know. And I was like, what is he doing? And then they kind of hug. And I was like, oh, my God, this is crazy because these guys are killers and they're huge. And they're just hugging it out. So Pavlovich starts strong, aggressive, trying to push back Tom. And, you know, Tom's trying to stay out of it, not back up too much. Throwing a little bit of feints here. And then Pavlovich, I want to say, catches him with the 1-2, if not just a straight jab, and kind of wobbles Tom. And I was like, oh, no. Like, just straight up, oh, no. I was like, no, this is not good. Pavlovich is on it. He felt it. He's just going to attack that, right? And then what Tom does after this, and I haven't seen too many people talking about it, but what Tom does, you know, he gets caught. And he feints his way out of there. He feints left, feints right, and makes Sergey Pavlovich hesitate with what he's going to throw next. And then Tom just gets himself out of there and recovers from what he just got hit because he got wobbled. I like, you can see him lock up for like half a second and then just feint, get out of there, and then just start. I think he just starts throwing the jab, and then he threw a leg kick, and then he just. Oh, I mean, I had to watch it in replay like 3 times, you know, because in slow-mo, you know, you see Tom throw the left and then come with the right. But when you see it in real life, it happens so fucking fast that I was more blown away after the fight than when it did happen, right? Because I'm just like, that it was so fast, like so fast. And it makes sense why Pavlovich felt for the left hand. Because Tom just said, foom, foom, like, and it was like that. And then, you know, catches him with the same combo right after and just finishes Sergey Pavlovich. But it, you know, the fact that he is a heavyweight, and I know everyone's talking about it, you know, his movement, how fast he is and all that. But when you see this shit in real time, it's so impressive. Like, so impressive. And again, like, I was telling my girl, like, the fact that he got himself out of that situation with the feints, that's just like high level striking, right? And a lot of people might be like, oh, like, you know, it just feints, but to do it against Pavlovich, you know, to get caught with Pavlovich's right hand and feint your way out of there, and then like to keep your mindset in a steady mind and not freak the fuck out because you know Pavlovich wants to get the knockout in the first, and they already just landed on you, like, you know, a minute in the fight. And then just catches him with the fast 1-2, a fast 1-2. It was like a lazy left jab, but showed it to him, and he did it earlier in the fight, but it happened so fast, and I was just blown away. Like, I knew Tom was good, and I think we all knew how good Tom was, including himself, but he said it, right? Coming in to this fight 2 weeks, he said he was genuinely scared to fight Sergey Pavlovich. And I mean, I think it's nice or cool that he admitted that. Like, he was scared coming into this fight, and he was hesitant on taking the fight. Is one of those things he said too. He wasn't sure if he should have taken this fight, and then he says later on, we find out that he had like a back problem. Like, he pulled his back a little bit, so he wasn't really training. And I mean, in the fight, he just gets in this, I'm assuming in this mode or in this zone where, I mean, he just gets in this fight mode, and Tom became his own element. And yesterday was, or on Saturday night, it was just his moment, and he lived up to it. And it was like one of those beautiful moments in the UFC. We see somebody become a champ, and you just are so happy for the guy. Such a humble guy, and was so thankful for the moment. So emotional, and just dedicated to his dad and the work that his dad and him put in the gym, in the garage, and those stories, right? You hear about them, and I was like, man, that's fucking awesome, and that's beautiful. And my reaction after the fight, I was just like, whoa, what just happened? Like, what? It was unbelievable. It kind of sucks for Pavlovich though, to be on this crazy hot streak, and then to get hit with that out of nowhere, like, boom, like, it just a blink in your eyes, it was over for him. So, but Pavlovich is going to bounce back. And I did say, like, I would love to see a rivalry between Tom and Sergey Pavlovich, because I don't see anyone in the UFC, in the heavyweight division, that's better, besides Tom, that's better than Sergey Pavlovich, including Stipe and John Jones. And I'm going to talk about that fight itself, like, towards the end here. But who's going to beat Sergey Pavlovich besides Tom? Not Ciryl Gane. Definitely not Almeida. And, I mean, Volkov, Spivak, like, no. And Sergey Pavlovich already beat most of his guys. I would love to see Sergey Pavlovich against Ciryl Gane if they haven't fought, which I don't think they did. So, yeah. But let's talk about, what's next for Tom. And he's the interim champion, which I think it was pretty shitty that they gave him an interim title, because I think John Jones should have vacated the title when he got hurt, because he's not coming back anytime soon. I know Dana White said that he's already in rehab, but he tore a muscle in his bicep, like that type of tear. He's out for a year. Like, he's going to be out for a year. If anything, we'll see him next in 2024. Like, in the earliest, I would think is October, November. And I was like, man, like, what are we going to do with the heavyweight division? Because I don't want to see Tom, and everyone's, I would think, nobody wants to see Tom defend the interim championship. Usually the interim's just there. Somebody wins it, and then his next fight is for the title, and that's how it should be. And Tom, rightfully so, should be next for the title. And I don't see the point of watching John Jones and Stipe. I don't care about that fight. I don't want to watch it. There's no interest for me, right? And now I'm not talking down about Stipe or John, but it's just like, besides that one fight, they're going to have their one fight, and then they're done. They're retiring, they're done. John Jones only came back for Francis. Only reason why he came back. And now, him getting hurt, I don't see a motivated John Jones at all. I think he's did a really, he's had his time in the UFC, and I really think he just came back for Francis. And Stipe came back for John Jones, and John Jones got hurt. And we saw Stipe coming into MSG yesterday limping. Shit was weird. I was like, how was this man supposed to fight John Jones, right? It's like, the dude can't even walk, like, right. He's like limping. I was like, what's going on? So I'm like, I don't want to see John Jones and Stipe. That fight, you can call it a mega fight or a star fight, but both of those guys are past their prime. And there's no benefit for the fan. Like, we might see entertaining fight, but to say like if Jon Jones wins, what does that make him the GOAT? Not really. You be a Stipe who's retired. If Stipe wins, I mean, do you call him the GOAT? I mean, not really. He beat Jon Jones towards the end of his career. So do you kind of get what I'm saying? Like the fight itself is kind of a little pointless. And I wish we would have just saw the undisputed title from Sergey Pavlovich versus Tom Aspinall. I wish that would have been the title fight. And then we can just see an active Tom defending his title early 24 and possibly late 24. Just twice a year. But now we got to wait. I want to see Tom fight before April next year. Or the latest May. But we're probably not going to see it. We know how Dana White is. We know how the UFC is. But I really just want to know who actually wants to see Stipe versus Jon Jones. Like, who really want to watch that fight? And for what reason? But, I think a lot of people want to see Tom Aspinall versus Jon Jones. I don't want to see that fight either because, Tom, I mean, he's so early on in his career, and I don't think Tom's entered his prime at all. That's just how good he is. And, you kind of just got to start working on your legacy in the heavyweight division and just start beating guys one by one. I know Tom wants to fight Jon Jones. Jon Jones is one of the greatest ever to fight in the UFC. And we would love to see that fight with him and Tom. But I think, if Tom beats Jon Jones, the weight, because Jon Jones is just not fighting at the highest level like he was. So, not taking away anything from Tom, but I just think Tom should just, move on and fight other guys. But if they can make that fight happen ASAP, then I would love to see it. I just want to see Tom fight. Now, for Sergey Pavlovich, no one's going to want to fight Sergey Pavlovich. Everyone's going to just want to fight Tom, whatever. But I'm going to put it to you guys like this. Tom Aspinall is Alexander Volkanovski, and then Max Holloway, or Sergey Pavlovich is Max Holloway. So you can kind of see how that division is going to be. And I really just think Tom and Sergey Pavlovich are going to be in the top for, forever, how long they keep fighting in the UFC. I don't see no one beating them besides them each other. I really don't. So maybe in 2 fights for Sergey, he gets another shot at Tom. And for Tom, he just needs the undisputed, and I think he'll get it. So that's that. But it was a banger. It was nice to see, just high level fighting from Tom, and for him to bounce back and throw those feints and recover so quickly. And for Sergey, he almost had it. He almost has that. Pavlovich almost had that first round knockout, but Tom has that decent chin on him and kind of got away, but he definitely felt it. So, yeah. All right, let's talk about the main event, which, Alex Pereira, Yuri Prochazka. It didn't. I expected more from both fighters, but I think I just expected, I guess, more from Alex too, right? I know he got the win, very impressive win, very controversial ending in a lot of people's eyes. But my reactions right after the fight, I was happy for Alex, but he just wasn't reacting to what Yuri was showing him, was throwing him. And I was just confused. I was like, I don't know if Alex is, I said he's going to be patient, but he was getting caught with some shots. And I was like, bro, why aren't you going in for the clinch? Or why aren't you like countering? Like, what's going on? And I know he did, and that's how he got the knockout. But I don't know if that was part of the game plan. Like, hey, eat some shots, let him get confident, and then just catch him coming in. I don't know, right? That could have been the plan too. But I will say I'm going to stop saying like, oh, I don't think, like I say Yuri's not that good. I'm going to stop saying that because I genuinely felt bad for Yuri when he lost. Because I saw a man defeated at the end, and he really wanted to win. And I know, and I could tell just from he looked, and obviously these guys are professional fighters. He trained his ass off for this. He wanted that belt back. And I think he was winning the fight and he was doing a decent fight. And he got caught. But I was like, fuck, man, that just sucks for Yuri. Like, you know, you're injured, you go through a camp, and then you just fall short like that. Like, it does suck. Like, I couldn't imagine what that feels like. So I was like, damn, I kind of feel bad, like, saying the things I say. So I'm going to stop doing that. And instead of using other words like not good, I'll say why Alex would have won this fight. And I don't know, I guess more respectful way you could say for these fighters. Both these fighters come out, and then we have probably one of the most epic stare downs in UFC history. These guys were locked in on each other for like at least 3 minutes, staring at each other, just locked in. And I think Alex won the stare down, and you know, he was just dialed in Yuri. And I was telling my girl, I was like, I bet Alex isn't even thinking about anything right now. He probably doesn't even know where he's at. He's just looking at Yuri, locked in, and was like, I'm gonna kill you. Like, and just telling himself that over and over and over. I was like, bro, that has to be scary. And then Yuri is like, all right, you know, like, let's do this. And they're just staring each other down. I don't even know what Yuri's thinking about, but I mean, I'm sure Yuri's thinking mean things too. So we get the fight going. And like I said, I think Yuri was winning this fight. His leg gets compromised right away. Right away. I think the first leg kick to the calf, he just, you know, folds a little bit. And then there's one that he actually fell. And I was like, oh my God, like his leg is fucked already. And we're only in the first round. But what was crazy is that Yuri, at one point, I think in the second, he like would step and just get kicked. And he was like, fuck it, I'm going to just let him beat up my leg. And I was like, I don't, you know. And in the second round, I couldn't tell how much he was affected by the leg kicks. But in the first round, you could tell that he started like, you know, try to be light on it or not move on it a certain way. But his leg gets compromised right away. Yuri gets a nice takedown in the first round. And, you know, he got caught with the leg kicks, and I think just one to the face. Not a leg kick, but, you know, I don't even know if it was a jab or a hook. But it was, you know, the first part of that first round was a little bit of Alex for the leg kicks. And the second part of the first round, you know, Yuri gets a takedown. A little bit of ground pound. He got a nice elbow. And that was the end of the first. And, you know, I thought it was a 50-50 fight. From the first round, I would have just give it to Yuri for getting the takedown. Second round starts, and this is where I was confused by Alex. Like, Yuri started catching Alex with some nice, clean punches. Like, just overhand or over the head punches. Was it overhand? I would say overhand punches. And, you know, just leaping in and catching him. He caught him like 3-4 times, and I could have sworn Alex was rocked on one of them. And I was like, oh my fucking God, like what's going on? And I was just so upset because Alex wasn't responding. He wasn't throwing anything back. And I was like, what the fuck? So, you know, again, I know this was part of his plan. It seemed, you know, Alex worked his way out, you know, whatever. They could meet themselves in the middle of the ring again. And then Yuri goes in again. And then, you know, gets real confident. And then Alex just catches him with the right, loading up the left at the same time, and then just short hook with the left and lights out for Yuri. Yuri falls to his knees, and then Alex, smart Alex, just starts hitting them with elbows. Well, he was hitting with the head, with the hand first, and then with the elbows. Real nice. And then you can see Yuri, he gets the double leg, and he wants to go for a takedown. But, you know, he's just getting hit so hard. So I think he just decides to lean back. And then we all know what happens, which is the controversial ending. The ref, Marc Goddard, ends the fight. And that's that. And a lot of people were a little upset about the stoppage. I would have loved to see the fight keep going and just see Yuri get finished if that was going to happen. But we seen Yuri against Glover get rocked. And he recovered like 2-3 times. We thought it was it for him, but he recovered. So Yuri can recover from damage, and I don't know why the ref didn't know that, but it was an okay stoppage, and Yuri even said it, like it was a good stoppage. It was what it was, you know, like a gentleman, honestly, not making any excuses about the stoppage. And that's why, you know, I felt bad because I was like, fuck, this guy's respectful. This guy's a gentleman, you know, whatever code, samurai code or what, you know, whatever it is, right? Whatever his code is. he's living by that, and that's it. And you have to respect that. So, that's why I was like, man, I'm sorry, Yuri, for what I said about you, but I really want to see him back, and we will. But the stoppage, let's talk about the stoppage, right? So, Yuri gets rocked. The dude kind of fold. Like, I don't know how he got hit so hard. Like, he like jumped sideways and his legs were that way and his head was coming down this way. So he got hit pretty fucking hard, like for his body to do what it did. And then, again, wants to go for the double leg. Alex hits him with a few punches and then he starts hitting them with the elbows. And you can see like Yuri, again, was locked in on Alex, and then once he starts feeling those headshots with the elbows, he gets like limb, and then he falls back, and it's kind of hard to tell like how hurt he was at that moment, and that's why the ref stopped it. So decent stoppage, but I would say it was a bit early, and Mark Goddard's getting a lot of hate, which is I think he's one of the best refs in there. We all know Herb Dean clearly, sometimes lets these fights keep going a little too much, but I don't know why he wasn't there. I'm sure there's just reasons. But I'm no ref. I'm barely a MMA guy or MMA fan who talks about MMA on YouTube. So I'm not even going to get too much about that. But decent stoppage. Yuri Prochazka, I mean, he said he lost. And, I mean, post-fight. And then even on a later video. But you can tell that he was really hurt, really upset. I was like, damn, that sucks. So, for Alex, at the end, Alex calls out Israel Adesanya. He says, come to daddy. And I was like, that's crazy for talking like that. But I thought it was pretty interesting and pretty neat because I think he was being nice and very respectful and wants to see Izzy in the ring. But, he said that he was at a bar and Izzy was talking kind of, not shit about him, but a little crazy about him. And that motivated him to come and do what he did in the UFC. He became a champion at 185, if I'm not mistaken. And then now a champion at light heavyweight, and it's very, very impressive to do that with, 9 fights in the UFC. And he's already a 2-division champ, which is crazy. So he tells Izzy, I want him to come back. I want him to fight with me at 205 for the light heavyweight title and just kind of end the legacy like that, I guess. And I'm like, bro, like, how Izzy responded, I was like, Alex is being so respectful as a fighter. I think being funny to say come to daddy was a little outrageous. But before that, it was just really respectful. And I was like, that's so nice. He's like, whatever. He's going through his stuff, how I was going through shit and just at a bar drinking and he's, going through his stuff. I want to see him back in the UFC. Israel Adesanya rescued me. I want to rescue Israel Adesanya. I was like, that's fucking awesome, And if he didn't say come for daddy, I think a lot of people, including Izzy, would have felt more different about the fight. But I thought it was shitty how Izzy responded. He just said, let it go. And you see Alex Pereira knocked out. And I was like, man, that's kind of shitty because, Alex Pereira, I think, is 3-1 against you. So, yeah. But for Alex Pereira, I mean, who does he fight? What does he do? A lot of people, when he had his first shot with Izzy and when he beat Izzy, everyone was all excited. Everyone was like, oh, I just got to take this guy down and beat him and da-da-da-da. And everyone was talking like that about Alex. Obviously, Israel Adesanya got his rematch and, beat Alex. But everybody said that, Alex was beatable. Vettori, Whitaker, I'm pretty sure Duplessis said it. But everybody was shitting on Alex. No ground game, because Israel embarrassed Alex with the ground game, not going to lie, or with the wrestling. So everyone thought Alex was a piece of cake when it came to taking him down. Yuri tried. He did pretty good. He probably would have had more success if the fight kept going, of course. But Alex Pereira, pretty good takedown defense. He did it with Jan, too. Pretty decent takedown defense. But I don't know what Alex should do, to be honest with you. He's been so active. He got fucking knocked out in April. He bounced back and fought in the summer against Jan Blachowicz, and now is a 2-division champ. And in November, April, in the summer, November. That's fucking impressive. 3 fights. One of them, you get knocked the fuck out, and to bounce back like that, it's amazing. So, I don't really care. Not that I don't care, but Alex, I don't know what else he needs to accomplish. you know, because he's a little bit older. I think he's 38. So he kind of just had a nice, and I'm not saying this like it's the end of him, but he's had a really, really nice time in the UFC. A very short but so impressive time in the UFC. And I can't think of anyone that he could beat that could just add more to his legacy. You know, if Jan can rack some wins, that would be nice. I would love to see Yuri against Alex again if Yuri can manage to get a win. But it is what it is. But for Yuri Prochazka, anyone, I will say that, I mean, oh, the Jamal Hill and Alex would be pretty good solid, I guess, too. But Jamal Hill, he's pretty hurt too. He's kind of corny. I like him as a fighter. He's such a good fighter, but he's just so annoying. I'm like, fuck, bro, why you gotta be like that? But I think Yuri should fight Jan Blachowicz, to be honest with you, or Ankalov as well, if I'm not mistaken. You know, Ankalov and Alex, that would be a really good fight. Ankalov just had a big W, so go for that fight and just see what happens. And for Yuri, I mean, there's a list of fighters he can fight. I think if he manages just to get one win, I think he's back out of the title shot, and that's that. So pretty good card overall. UFC 295 was a banger at MSG. We have 296, one more pay-per-view before the night ends, and I think we have like 3 to 4 main events or fight nights, and hopefully we'll be able to go to one here in Austin. But let me know, guys, what you think about the fights. Let me know what's next for the winners and for the guys that got defeated and the lady. And yeah, you know, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Thank you guys for all the love and support that you've shown to the channel. And we're trying to just grow and give the best content out there. Peace.